Welcome to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, a production of flagandbanner.com. Through storytelling and conversational interviews, this weekly radio show offers listeners firsthand insight into starting and running a business, the ups and downs of risk-taking, and the commonalities of successful people. Connect with Kerry through her candid and informative weekly blog, where you'll read and make comment on her chronicling of life as an entrepreneur. And now it's time for Kerry McCoy to get all up in your business.
Thank you, Chris. Like Chris said, I'm Kerry McCoy, and it's time for me to get up in your business. I just put all those really tricky words in the opening there, like chronicling.
I saw that. I was kind of going like,
that's a trick. I was going to see if you can do that.
I should have proofread.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Oh, professional over there. He doesn't think he needs to do any of that. Before we start, I want to introduce the people at the table. We have who you just heard from and who I was just giving a hard time to. Chris Cannon, my co-host, who will be managing the board. He'll be taking your calls, and he's keeping it real. Say hello, Chris.
Hello.
And recording our show today to make a podcast available next week is our technician, Jason Malik from Arise Studio in Conway, Arkansas. He's bringing a lot of professionalism down here. We've got soundboards. What's that thing he's got up behind us?
That is called a sound wall.
We got a sound
kind of
wall
to
up.
buffer the sound in here.
First time I've ever seen that. If right now you're sitting at your computer, you might want to watch us live on flagandbanner.com's Facebook page. It's kind of fun to see what goes on behind the scenes, and you can see my guest waving to the guys behind the wall. It's reality radio, just keeping it real. It's my favorite way to go. If for some reason you miss any part of this show or want to hear it again, there's a way, and Chris is going to tell you how.
Listen to all UIYB interviews by going to flagandbanner.com and clicking on Radio Show. There you'll find our podcast and links to resources you heard on each show. Stay up to date by joining our email list or like us on Facebook to get an early sneak peek of each week's upcoming guest.
Thank you, Chris. This show, Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, began as a platform for me, a small business owner and a guest, to pay forward our experiential knowledge in a conversational way. Originally, my team and I thought it would appeal to entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs, but it seems to have a wider audience appeal because, after all, who isn't inspired by everyday people's American-made stories? It's no secret that successful people work hard, but another common trait is, underneath their exterior is the heart of a teacher. They're good at communicating, and they love paying forward their knowledge. Another discovery I find interesting is that most of my guests have a spiritual bent. They believe in a higher power, thus enabling them to be risk takers. And last, this next discovery really caught me by surprise, and that is the consideration that business in of itself is creative. My guest today, Mr. Creighton Ralls, is a creative, self-proclaimed jack of all trades. After graduating from the Walton College of Business at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, he sowed his young career oats traveling, waiting tables, and photographing whitewater in Colorado before coming back to Arkansas and joining the family business of overseeing condominium sales and retail rentals at Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. Pyramid Place, once known as the Pyramid Building, is located on 2nd Street and was built in 1906. And, are you ready for this? Was Arkansas's first skyscraper, standing a whopping 10 stories high, and at the time causing quite a stir to passerbyers who openly fretted for the safety of the workers. And it was written about in the Arkansas Democrat. The history of this building is fascinating, and I'll let Creighton tell us all about it. It's a pleasure to welcome to the table a family friend and jack of all trades, Mr. Creighton Ralls.
Thank you. Thank you
for
Good
coming
afternoon.
on.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I met your sister. I was saying this before we went on. I met your sister Jen first. She's a friend of my daughter's. I met your brother Raleigh second. He's a friend of my daughter's. I met your Barbara next. She worked on the Clinton administration, Clinton campaign, right?
She did. That's correct.
And so she's a friend of my mother-in-law's. And
Hi,
then
Mom.
I met you. Oh, there. Say it again.
I got it in early. Hi, Mom.
Let's talk about your family a little bit, because
Sure.
you have a very modern and a very blended family, like so many people today do. Tell us about your childhood a little bit, what it was like growing up.
Well, I grew
Did you
up
grow up in
here.
Arkansas?
I grew up here in Little Rock. Yes. spent my whole youth in Little Rock. Grew up in West Little Rock. We would rarely venture downtown. I'm pretty young, 42, but back in the 80s, people didn't really come downtown much. So I didn't even know how wonderful downtown was until we would come to farmers markets, and I guess we used to have Hoop Fest. And my father worked almost close to downtown, and then my mother, when she became a partner at Baird Kurtz and Dobson, they were located in what's now the Union Plaza building, and that was the first skyscraper experience that I really had. I think that was on like the 16th floor, and then they moved over to the what then was First Commercial Bank building, which is now the Regions building, and of course up on the top floor they've got the Little Rock Club, which I think back they used to be called Jock and Suzanne's. There was a restaurant up there, and you could see forever. So I've always loved tall buildings and loved downtowns and urban living. But back to my youth and growing up. We did have a mixed and fairly, I don't know if it was modern family, but, mom and dad both worked and were both professionals. And, it was
I thought your dad was in the military. You said he worked downtown?
He was in the military. My dad had an interesting life and career. So he was in the military. He went to West Point, graduated in 1955. And he ended up getting a PhD at, I think, George Washington University while he was serving at the Pentagon during the Vietnam War, and after he passed out, was passed up so many times, I think for like colonel or something like that, he ended up becoming a college professor.
Wow, really?
So he was a professor of economics at the University of Arkansas, and that's where I think he and my mother met in Fayetteville. And then they ended up getting married in 1975. And he moved to Little Rock. He commuted for a while and still taught. And then he started a business as a economic consultant for attorneys. So he would do expert witness work, valuation on lost property, whether that's human property or real physical property.
What an interesting guy. I did not know that about your father.
Yes.
He died early, too.
He did.
How old were you?
Cancer got him. I was in high school. I was 13 years old.
What a critical.
And, cancer sucks, but yeah.
And that long ago, the survival rate was not as good.
No, and he had melanoma, skin cancer. So it was, and I think it was carcinoma, or one of the nomas that are really mean nomas. So it was a less survivable cancer.
Was he was he out in the desert or anything for his work in the military? Do you think the exposure during the military, was he ever out in the field?
Well, he was, but I don't think people really lathered up much with sunscreen back then. So I'm a very big proponent of it.
I bet you are.
Yeah, my children don't go outside unless they're.
So your mother remarried?
She did. She married my stepfather, James Freeman. He's a nice gentleman.
And then did you get a half brother out of that, or did you just gain step brothers and sisters?
Jen and Michael are my two
steps.
Yeah.
And then Raleigh's
my brother. Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So, because I know your whole family.
So my mother and father, Raleigh and I, and then Jen and Michael, my stepfather James, and my mother.
Okay, so there's 4 of you.
There's 4 of us. Well, 3 now.
2 his, 2 hers.
Yes, and we've lost my younger brother.
And then recently, your brother, our family friend Raleigh, passed away. That's not been very long ago.
It will be 4 years this year.
He's pretty young. He was a pretty young guy.
He was. Great person.
He was. And you work with your sister, I think.
I do. It's a family business that we have now. And it's been interesting. I've had a lot of work experiences in my life. And family businesses are pretty awesome. But they're also, as you know, it's an adventure every day, right?
All business is an adventure. It's why I love it.
True,
That's why I love it. It's problem solving 101. What I did learn, though, is don't firefight. Be proactive and know what's coming before it gets there. I don't like that firefighting
Putting out
business.
Fires is tough.
That's the part I don't like.
It's tough.
I like kind of forecasting.
The men and women that fight fires, ask them. It's real tough. do you ever get to meet them? Do you ever have a fire alarm go off every so often?
Oh, yeah, they come down.
As a building owner?
Yeah, they come down all the time and check it out. They really just come down to see the Dreamland Ballroom. All the fire guys are like, we got to make calls this afternoon. Let's go down to the Dreamland Ballroom and walk around. It's a cool little building. I'm surprised they don't do that at your pyramid place.
They actually came and we had a little party going on and one of our apartments got pretty full. This was only about 3 weeks ago, maybe. And somebody accidentally hit the stove, and there was a piece of paper on it, and kind of caught on fire.
Oh,
And
so
so the alarm went off at about 9 p.m. on a Friday night.
So one of your residents was having a party.
They were, which is, it
Cool.
happens every so often. Yeah, people party. That's great.
that's
And
fun.
so fire department came, and we went to investigate the fire. And the one of the young ladies asked if they were the strippers. and so,
I love her.
and so I did too, and I thought that was great. But kudos to our Little Rock Fire Department gentlemen that came. They started to strip, so they did not follow through completely with it, but they did give. They started to go with the flow of the show. So they had a fun time. They do a really good job, and when they show up, they are 100% engaged. If there really is a fire, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, that's good.
So they do much better than I do at putting out fires.
In the next
as a
segment,
business.
we're going to talk about how your building, when it was built, was boasting about being fireproof, which I think is really. It was the technology. It was state-of-the-art technology for being fireproof. At least that's what they put in the paper in 1907 when they were opening the doors. But that's the next segment. Let's talk about you going to college. So I didn't
Yes.
realize your daddy was an economics professor at college. Is that why you went to Fayetteville and why you studied at the Walton School of Business?
Well, I got my undergraduate degree at University of Central Arkansas, and I had always
I
wanted
thought you went to Fayetteville.
I got my graduate degree at Fayetteville.
Oh, I'm with you.
And I had always wanted to go to the University of Arkansas, and I don't think I had enough self-discipline to go as an undergraduate. I'd probably still be trying to get my undergraduate degree
I agree.
today.
I'm with you. I understand.
But when I did decide that it would be a good idea to get a graduate degree in business, it's a top-notch institution, and it's a great university, and I'm a proud supporter of it.
Yeah, you are, with your hog ambulance.
That's funny.
We're going to talk about that.
I do sit on the Dean's Academic Advisory Council at the Walton College, and we meet twice a year, and it's a great group of professionals. And
Part of a teacher.
And I've thought long and hard about maybe, who knows, 5-7 years from now if PhD would be something I'd be interested in. But my hands are full right now. So
Also, you got two babies.
But yeah, and I'd love to teach. I mean, I think it'd be, I don't know, I'd love teaching people every day something. And so if you had a curriculum to deliver to young people and maybe impact their lives on top of that, I think there's a great ability to do something with, I don't know, to carry forward with your life.
I learn a lot about you.
So
I've
I
known you a
guess
long
I've got an
time.
altruistic streak that I try to, not use too much.
So you graduated from college, didn't use your degree, went to work at...
Initially, I didn't use my. I don't know. I mean, I think I've used my degrees. I learned a lot, but
You went and photographed.
I did take
White.
photographs of whitewater. That was.
What was the name of the river you were on?
They were the. I think it's called the Payette or Payette. They're up in Idaho.
I thought it was Colorado.
There's a group up there in Idaho, and right north of Boise, some amazing whitewater. And
Did you lead tours?
No. A friend of mine, a family friend, he graduated from college and got a little bit of seed money, and this was in, I want to say like 2001 or 2, and so nice digital cameras were just a big thing, and he figured out a need that people were coming and doing tours, and none of the companies were taking photographs on these rivers, and they were pumping people through. So he figured out if he took photos, or if we took photos and ran thumb drives up and down the river system to this store at the end, and then caught people coming out of the water and said, "Hey, come down here and take a look," and brought them thumbnails that they would, and sure enough, they stopped and would buy $30 photographs, and we'd print them out and cut them out.
How long did you do that?
We did that for a whole summer. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds awesome.
I like kayaking and the outdoors. I mean, it was kind of a dream job for a.
You paid for
a
your
young
hobby.
man. Yeah, it was a lot.
What made you decide to come back to Little Rock?
Well, this is a long story coming back to Little Rock. After I got married, my wife and I, we moved to Seattle and then to Spokane, Washington. And I wanted to come back to Little Rock after our first daughter was born, to be closer to my mother and have the grandparent experience. And we had already been out in Washington for a long period of time. And that's how we came back. We missed our folks. I mean, our peoples, we're from Arkansas and we wanted to be home. And we're very glad that we made that decision. We loved it out in the Pacific Northwest, don't get me wrong, but this is where we're from.
This is a great place to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Creighton Ralls, owner and overseer of Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. We'll talk about the history of the Pyramid Building, Little Rock's first skyscraper, learn about the business of Airbnb, a business that many of you might be interested in learning. We'll talk about art, because on the first floor of Pyramid Place is an art gallery. We'll have him describe his mother's love of art and the gallery where she sells it. And last, this one cracks me up, his ambulance. That's right, you heard me, his ambulance. It's an ambulance that he bought and has converted into a Razorback tailgating mecca. We'll be back after the break.
You're listening to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, a production of flagandbanner.com. Over 40 years ago, with only $400, Kerry founded Arkansas Flag and Banner. During the last 4 decades, the business has grown and changed, starting with door-to-door sales, then telemarketing to mail order and catalog sales. And now, a third of their sales come through the internet. And this past year, Flag and Banner added another internet feature, live chatting. Over time, Kerry's business and leadership knowledge grew. As early as 2004, she began sharing her knowledge in her weekly blog. And then in 2009, she founded the nonprofit Friends of Dreamland Ballroom. And then in 2004, started an in-house publication called Brave Magazine, whose next issue is slated for October 2018. Today, she has branched out into radio with this very production, podcast, and live streaming on Facebook. Each week on this show, you'll hear candid conversations between her and her guests about real-world experiences on a variety of businesses and topics that we hope you'll find interesting and inspiring. If you would like to ask Kerry a question or share your story, send an email to questions with an S at upyourbusiness.org. That's questions at upyourbusiness.org. Or send her a message on flagandbanner.com's Facebook page.
Want to create excitement for your business or event? Do it with affordable advertising from Arkansas's flagandbanner.com. We have teardrop banners, retractable banners, and table drapes. We have street pole banners, museum and exhibit banners. We have custom flags, event tents, tailgating poles, auto graphics, and window scrim. And don't forget, welcome home and sale banners. Consult the experts at Arkansas's flagandbanner.com. Go online for a free quote or drop by our historic showroom at 800 West 9th Street in Little Rock.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Boost morale and patriotism with a new flag or flagpole from Arkansas's flagandbanner.com. We have poles, hardware, accessories, maintenance support, installation, and custom flags. We have flags of all kinds for the sports enthusiast, the world traveler, or history buff. We have them all. Bring in your old flag and get $5 off a new one. Consult the experts at Arkansas's flagandbanner.com. Come shop our historic location at 800 West 9th Street in Little Rock, or visit us online at flagandbanner.com. You're listening to Up in Your Business with me, Kerry McCoy. I'm speaking today with Creighton Ralls, owner and overseer of Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. Before the break, we talked about Creighton's life. He's got a modern, blended family. We talked about some of the losses he had with his family and how he wanted to come back to his family that's still alive. And I really do think that makes your family seem almost more important to you, because you feel like you understand how one day it can all be just taken away so quickly.
Sure.
If you haven't kind of lived through that, sometimes you don't realize until you get older, and you know.
Sure, loss is never fun, whatever it is, right?
That's right.
But you get through it, and then I think you grow from it.
And you learn,
obviously, yeah.
So we talked
Or
about
you
that.
can.
Well, you can. Or you can get stuck.
Yeah, you get
And then how you went whitewater rafting for
did
your
that.
profession. Now you're back home, and you are taking care of the Pyramid Place, which your mother bought. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the cool
I do
stuff.
want to clarify for
Okay.
our listeners.
Okay.
My family owns the building.
Right.
I don't have any money, so don't think that. I just
clarify that.
I just take orders.
You sound like my son. He walked in the other day, and I said, "What are you?" I asked him something, and he said, "I just do what I'm told. You tell me what to do. My wife tells me what to do. I just do what I'm told."
It's easy that way.
I said, "God, you're young. You've already been trained. You've only been married 3 months, and you're already saying that. That's pretty good."
Yeah, I mean, that'll save you years of grief. Right
Yeah. So, as you know, I love old buildings, and your building is older
do.
than mine.
Is ours? I didn't. How old's yours?
1916, and
Oh,
yours
yeah,
is
yours is-
1906.
Yours is a baby.
Oh, I know it, right? It was built by Judge William Marmaduke Kavanaugh. Is
That's
that who
correct.
the Kavanaugh, the street in Arkansas, in Little Rock's been named after?
My guess. It's spelled the same, so it'd be pretty coincidental otherwise, but
And he owns Southern Trust Company.
that's right.
And when I went to the Arkansas Encyclopedia page and read about your building, if anybody wants to do that, there's an Arkansas Encyclopedia page about it. I thought it was interesting that when he bought that building, or he bought the land to build it for his Southern Trust Company, he decided to just start a Southern Construction Company
It's pretty smart.
and was his own contractor.
It's pretty smart.
I thought this was cool too. I'm telling everything about your building like I'm an expert, but it was
You know almost more than I do. I'm embarrassed.
I kind of wondered about that. Architect George Mann.
I do know about the man, Mr. Mann, and the Mann Building and his
Where's
other
the
work.
Mann Building?
The Mann Building's Samantha's. Are you familiar with?
Yeah.
Not to plug another business.
That's all right. Fine. Samantha's. Yeah.
Wonderful restaurant.
Wonderful restaurant downtown on Main Street. That's the Mann Building?
That's the Mann Building. I assume the same man. Are there two ends there?
Yeah, two ends.
Got to be the same guy. And then the Boyle Building.
He built that one?
That was after the
What about he did the
Southern
Arkansas
Trial.
State Capitol
He did-
building?
yeah, that was one of them too.
Yeah, we're talking about these other ones. Well, he did the state capitol.
He did a pretty good job.
It's modeled after Washington, D.C.
It's beautiful. I like the doors a lot.
Yeah.
I like old doors. I have like a weird thing with the old, beautiful cladded
What are those?
metal
You
doors,
mean those
the
gold
gold
doors?
doors, that you see on a lot of the state, some of the state buildings, and most of them have probably been taken over the years. If it wasn't the Capitol, but
Yeah.
if there were any of those on any of the old buildings,
Oh yeah,
they're
they'd be
probably
taken.
gone.
They stripped everything out of my building when I bought it.
Us too.
How about you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, parts of it, I think, were taken. A lot of it's intact, to be honest with you. I think more so than a lot of other buildings. And I think part of that's because it's always been occupied. So it's never been
Vacant.
It's never been vacant since it opened. There's always been a tenant.
it'd be hard to go in there and raid the fixtures.
There's a big vault door that I don't know where went, but I think it's well before our time.
Well, that brings me to a great thing I read.
Did you find a vault door?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I read this. It said, so that this is what the Gazette said about your building. Early interpretation of glass and steel design concept. I think it was one of the first steel skeletal framings,
It was the first,
or it was the first.
at least here in Arkansas.
Electric elevators, mail chutes, state-of-the-art fireproofing technology that we talked about in the first break. I don't know what that means.
Concrete
Is that right?
and steel, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I bet that's exactly what it
But
was. And here's
It's
the
hard
one.
to burn that down.
Have you heard this one before? It boasted it was burglar-proof, fire-proof, and mob-proof vaults.
No, I've never heard that. That's awesome.
It's on the Encyclopedia.
What's the difference between burglars and mobsters? We're going to get in trouble, probably.
Well, I know we're going to get shot. But burglar-proof, fire-proof, and mob-proof vaults. So you're talking about the vault. Do you think that's what they're talking about? Because you can't.
Yes, so we do still have the large vault that we believe was in the teller, like the bank lobby, is still there and intact. And so there's Hanaru Sushi Bar there. There's one door
On the
there.
first floor of your
On the
building?
first floor in the lobby, yes. You can actually come see the old vault doors. They're still there. And they're huge. But the one in the basement, which I think it's all gilded and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure that was where the safety deposit boxes were kept. And that door is not there. The inner doors are still there, and we keep it locked and use it for some storage. But
So let me in
But
the
somebody
basement.
stole the big, huge. I don't even know how they would have gotten it out.
They probably sold it. You can't steal that. You
Well, they
gotta
probably
sell
chopped it apart.
and sold it.
That's
Would
my
have taken
guess.
a week to get it out of there, probably.
Probably,
So you think because it was built by an insurance company that they probably kept all their money in there?
yes. Yeah. Well, it was a bank and then an insurance company, so there was a lot of cash at some point. And who knows, maybe precious metals. I'm not sure.
In the basement, the vault is still there's still a big vault down there.
There's a huge vault in the basement. There's
How big?
about 400 square feet. That's why I think it was safety deposit boxes. There are two
That's
vaults.
like a walk-in vault.
It is. There are two vaults in our basement. Both of them you can walk into. And then there's one vault up on the lobby level as well.
But the one on the lobby level's got missing.
No, it's got its original doors. You can actually, somebody's put glass on the inside. You can see all the moving
Do
parts.
you get to go
and-
see all that if you come visit you?
You can. I'll show it to you, yes.
I want to see
I have
that.
to open the door up, but then you can see on the inside. It's
it
really
locked?
cool. No, we've got the combination. It functions. We actually have artwork inside of that, like
What a
fine
great
pieces
place
of
to
art.
store it.
Yes, inside of there, and it's definitely fireproof. It's all cinder blocked, and I mean it's pretty solid.
I think that's called mob-proof
It's
vaults.
about the size of my apartment.
Is that right?
Wow.
400 square feet?
Yeah, it's maybe two of them.
That's the size of your bedroom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. And then I wrote down the designs, and I don't know what this means. Classical revival style. Mm-hmm. Vertical columns.
Yes.
Stone cornices. Mosaic
Yes.
white tiles. White marble baseboards, which I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
U-shaped design to maximize the natural lighting and the fresh air circulation.
Which is really neat. So as we've done some demo and uncovered some of the old heritage and pieces of the building, I guess we found where on the columns they had installed plugs to plug fans in higher up, I guess for the summertime to circulate the air, and then all the windows open in that horseshoe shape, and they still do. We can let fresh air anytime we want to.
All the windows work.
All the windows in the building work.
That's very unusual.
Which is it's really cool.
Are
Actually,
they new or old?
The windows are new.
How new?
I think 2014.
Oh, they are new.
They were replaced. So we've got great windows, but they still all open. We wanted to make sure they still opened. You know, you can get great drafts there in the summertime. I think that's why it was built that way. And I read something. Now I didn't go on the same page, but I used that newspapers.com, and so I've read some old articles about the building, and there were people that would even stay there instead of their apartment houses because it was cooler in the summertime higher up, so they would sleep in their offices, and there were porters back in the day, and then I've also read that. They had elevator operators to operate the elevators, and dogs were not allowed on the elevator, apparently. I saw that
Is that a
somewhere.
problem?
Apparently, I guess it was, or
Take
else
the
they wouldn't have.
stairs.
Yeah, right. So,
Okay.
anyway, that talks about the air coming through. So the U shape, it's pretty unique. People get lost in the building all the time because it's not a square building. So
I was lost there. You had to keep showing me around. I didn't realize it was U-shaped.
it is. It's
That's-
like a little horseshoe.
What's in the center?
The center's open all the way down to there's a roof on the lobby level that's there, which is where some of our mechanicals on top of the
I was going
roof.
to say you probably hide stuff there.
We hide stuff there.
That's what I would
There
do.
used to be a lot of pigeons there. They don't come back anymore.
Well, that's hard to get done. All right, so it opened in 1907
Correct. That's what they tell me.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It was to fanfare, apparently.
They said thousands of people. Now, does that mean 2,000? Does that mean 1,000? All they said on the paper was thousands of people. That's a lot. I don't even know how many people were in Arkansas, in Little Rock in 1906 to have thousands of people come down to the opening.
It's a spectacle.
And people continued to come till past midnight.
And
In horse and buggies, out in midnight,
which is
coming down to your
outstanding
building.
to see it, just to see this new amazing structure in Little Rock, Arkansas. That was something they'd never seen before.
Yeah,
Little Rock was happening, still is,
that's what you think.
especially over in your block.
Yeah, right. But you do think that. You do believe in Arkansas and what's happening.
Absolutely.
When that building was built, it kind of made the whole area of the district was dubbed the Wall Street district of Little Rock, which led to other high rises coming down there. And it's had lots of owners. I even kind of tried to list all the owners because my building, I don't know if it had lots of owners or not. I know that when I bought it, the title was a mess.
I've heard you say that you had to
there were so many liens on it. I don't know that any of them owned it, but everybody and their dog had a lien on it for them not paying their bills.
How do you free that up?
You hire a lawyer.
That's the easy way?
I have no idea.
Right.
And it takes about 6 months.
Okay.
Because you have to notify everybody that has a lien on it and ask them if they still want the lien. And of course, all the people were dead. Except for the U.S. government and the state of Arkansas both had a lien on it.
And they forgave them, or did you have to give them
I guess they were
money?
so grateful that I bought the dadgum thing. They were like, just give it to her. Now, they probably can't even remember what the lien was for. Probably back taxes, I'm sure.
Now, I love... Can I ask questions
Sure.
of you, too?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Okay. So, it's... you obviously have fallen in love with this old building of yours.
Mm-hmm. Old men, old buildings.
Yeah, what
old money, old whiskey.
I mean, what is it about it? I mean, I'm not into old men and that type of thing.
You probably like old whiskey. No, you like old whiskey too much. You like
used
old
to.
money.
I like old money. I like any money, really. But
Yeah, it could be new
like
money.
I said, I don't have any. So in that regard, I used to see this as more of a chore, this building that we manage, right? Now I love it. I feel like I feel like a mother hen in a way. Like, how do you feel in your
When did
building?
you turn the corner?
You know, it was just in the last, probably in the last 18 months.
Because I have seen you in the last. You gave me a tour about a year ago, and you were a very proud mama.
Yes. Had you caught me maybe 6 months earlier in that, maybe my frustration would have shown through. But
What changed?
I don't know. And we didn't. It's not that we completed anything or did it, but something hit and struck. And
Maybe it's because you moved down there
that's a possibility. But I was already
in love.
living there. But I mean, it was more. Well, it was a love-hate relationship, and then it turned more into a love relationship. But I really feel like it's that this old building, that we have some custodial responsibility to continue its mission, what it was originally. So with all that fanfare, and we're trying to make it alive again and make it a center of, maybe it's not a Wall Street, but more a center of the arts and something exciting for Little Rock. We only have one property that we manage and take care of, and we want it, and it's this one, and we want it to be the best that it can be.
I think it's a big responsibility, especially when I read the history of it. Did your mother know it had that history when she bought it?
She did. This is funny. She was pregnant with me in that building. She worked in that building.
We have something in common.
In 1977, I think. No, well, I was born in 1975 because she wasn't. I don't know.
So she was working in that building, which is probably when she fell in love with it.
Maybe, yeah.
She was an accountant for.
I can't remember the name of the firm, but you may have it. But
I probably do have it.
she would know. We could text her, but
no,
I think she's in a meeting. But the bottom line is, she's always loved that building, I guess. I didn't know why she loved it. I didn't even know she was pregnant with me in it until after they had bought it.
She was pregnant with you when she worked in that building.
That's correct.
I was pregnant, and now you work for her. So listen to this
That's funny.
synchronicity. I was pregnant with son Matthew when I bought that building and started renovating it, and now he works in that building.
Now,
That's weird,
did
isn't it?
Matthew try to get away from it?
Well, sure.
Because I did too.
Well,
And
sure. He just came back a year
Now,
ago.
does he really love it?
Yes, he loves it. He's the one that got the grant for
Exactly.
the Dreamland Ballroom. He loves it.
So there's something about these properties. Again, you're pulled to them and you're compelled to take care of them. I mean, they're a piece of history. They're a piece of Little Rock. They're a piece of you. And eventually, as it's passed on, you've left this mark in a very short period of time on this building,
Yeah,
right?
It is kind of your legacy.
A part of it is, yeah. And especially with it, to me, I mean, it being a city I love and a state that I love, I think we can leave something nice behind.
We wouldn't even be talking about Judge Kavanaugh, who died probably 100 years ago, if he hadn't renovated that building. So just think, 50 years from now, somebody will be sitting in a radio station talking about the Ralls family.
Well, that would be cool.
That would be cool. It went through lots of owners. It had Judge Kavanaugh, Home Insurance Company, First Pyramid Life Insurance, Patrick Associates bought it, William Thomas bought it, CWR Farms bought it. They bought it for cheap because the value downtown went down. They bought it cheaper than anybody else did. It went as high as $2 million and then went down as low as $500,000. And then your mother came in and bought it in 2005. She came back around to her love of that building. I should have her talk about how much she loves the building, probably. I was going to say, let's talk. She says your mother, Barbara Yates, is a creative businesswoman. I've known her for a long time. And she describes the purchase and the project of restoring the Pyramid Place. And this is a quote. It's a threefold motivation to make money, save the building, and put something back into Little Rock.
Well, I think she's accomplished all of those three things so far.
Mm-hmm. So now you're renting
And
it
more.
out. Oh yeah, she has. She's a very successful woman. You're renting the space out.
That's correct. So we've always been renting it out, but we built 21 apartments.
21.
21 starting in. I moved back here late 2014, so we started in 2015, and we started leasing them in March of this year. So it's about a two and a half.
You mean you weren't leasing prior to March of this year?
We weren't leasing apartments.
Oh,
no.
you were renting. You were selling condos.
Office space. We're not, well.
Okay, tell us what you're doing down there.
So what we're doing,
Okay.
we've got a mixed use building, right?
Okay.
So we have art studios, we have retail, we have art studios, we have an art gallery presence. And then we have office space from our 3rd floor up to our 7th floor. And then 8, 9, 10, and the terrace level are all residential.
Oh.
So it's mixed use. It's running all day. It's a really and we have full service basement on top of that. So it's we renovated the whole basement. We have a fitness studio down there, bicycle storage. We have regular storage. Our mechanicals down there, obviously, and then we do have plans to put in a nice wine cellar as well.
You started doing Airbnb. Just could not do it, could you? Just had to get in there with everybody else.
We did. It's been interesting.
Tell us about that.
It's been an adventure. It's fun. We've probably had 80 different bookings since March.
80 Airbnb since March.
80 different unique individuals have come through that building. The majority of them obviously from out of town. And a lot of people love it. They say it reminds them of a big city. And it's a good business also. It's a great way to get your brand out. And so we started doing it because our website that we were having redone wasn't finished. And we had them ready to lease. So we were like, let's just put them on Airbnb and see what happens. And there was a weekend in July where we had the 21st unit's what we call our terrace unit, which is a very large penthouse terrace that the owners use to stay in.
How big is that? How many square feet is that?
It's over 3,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's very big.
But the other 20 were all full at the same time.
On the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th floor.
On the 7th, 8th, and 8th, 9th, and 10th floor.
8th, 9th, and
Yeah,
10th floor.
in July for a weekend. So between March, nothing. July, all 20.
Wow.
We've been that busy.
All Airbnb?
No, it's a mix. So we have people with 5-year lease that's going to purchase one at the end of the 5 years.
So you can sell them, lease them, or Airbnb them.
Yeah,
All of that.
all of it. So we've got a great mix of folks that stay with us, and we've had people that have been getting treatment at the hospitals,
Oh, yeah.
or children that are sick at children's.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, people, they've sold their houses and need a place to stay as they figure out what they're going to do next. Obviously, business travelers, people on vacation. You'd be surprised. I don't know you're downtown, but a lot of people come to Little Rock for vacation in the summertime. Yes. We get a lot of vacationers, and
What do they do?
They go to Central High Museum.
Oh, they like museums.
They go to the Clinton
We've got a lot of
Library.
museums.
They go out to Pinnacle. They like to be outside, even though it's hot in the summer. But
We have more museums per
like to
capita than
eat.
most cities do.
People like to come to Little Rock and eat downtown.
We have fabulous food.
I was surprised by how many people are on vacation, and we've got a good group of airmen too that come into town that come into the Air Force Base in Jacksonville to train, and they've been referring us. So we've got some of them that stay with us as well. And a gentleman's coming over from France actually here mid-September to stay for 6 months.
Meet some really interesting people.
We do, and that's part of the reason I'm falling more in love with this property. Is it's a conduit to meet lots of people and just hear all these different stories about what people are going. And you're touching a very important part of their lives. It's where they live, right? Mm-hmm. It's where they sleep, they stay, and so we want them to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with the offices too, and the art studios. We just want it to be a place you want to come. There's no, you can just let it all go, and you can either work, you can sleep, you can live. You can paint, you can sculpt, and the building has a great energy to it.
It does, and the windows are so light. They're so open and airy, just like you were talking about.
That's right. Lots of natural light.
Lots of natural
You can
light.
have natural air. We've got brand new mechanical air.
Windows.
That was a big deal. Air conditioning.
Oh.
We had an old 2-pipe system that ran, water on a loop from the 2nd floor to the 10th floor of the building in 2-inch pipes. I mean, if you can imagine, that's a lot of water. So if one of those pipes has a problem, you've got a big problem. And so we replaced all the mechanical in the building, and it was a project. But now we could be sitting in here and it could be 65, and you could be next door and it could be 75.
Perfect.
Which is awesome, I guess, for some people. So.
Yeah, because I don't think men and women should really live together, because I really like it about 85, and Grady likes it about 65.
You're growing spiders. I had a boss like you.
The skinny girls are cold. I'm sorry.
I used to hate going in her office because if I had to shut the door, it was like 90, and it'd be like summertime, and she'd have heat coming out of her register.
No, that's too hot.
It was warm.
This is a great place to take a break. We come back, we'll continue our conversation with Creighton Ralls, owner and, I'm not supposed to say owner, I'm supposed to say overseer. You are owner. You're part of the family of the Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. We'll talk about
Depends on who's listening.
Okay, Mom, don't listen. We'll talk about the retail space on the first floor, more specifically the art gallery, and learn about the amenities of living downtown. And last, we'll talk Razorback tailgating and his recently converted ambulance into a hambulance. You heard me. Hambulance, I love it. But first, I want to remind everyone we're broadcasting live every Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Time on both KABF 88.3 FM, the voice of the people, and flagandbanner.com's Facebook page. And that after 1 week of every show's airing, a podcast is made available on all popular listening sites and YouTube. We'll be right back after the break.
Flagandbanner.com is proud to underwrite Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy. This weekly radio show and podcast offers listeners firsthand insight into starting and running a business, plus the ups and downs of risk-taking and the commonalities of successful people shared in a conversational interview with Kerry. Along with this radio show, flagandbanner.com publishes a free biannual magazine called Brave. First published in October of 2014, this magazine features everyday people's real stories of bravery. Its goal? To inspire you to celebrate your own bravery and challenge you to recognize it in others. The Department of Arkansas Heritage recognized Brave Magazine's documentation of American life and microfiches all editions for the Arkansas State Archives. Brave Magazine will be in your mailbox and hitting newsstands October 2018. Free subscriptions and advertising opportunities available at flagandbanner.com by selecting Magazine, where you can read previous stories and see a rate sheet.
Thank you, Chris. You're listening to Up in Your Business with me. I'm Kerry McCoy, and I'm speaking today with Creighton Ralls, owner and overseer of Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. If you've got a question, you got about 15 minutes to make a comment on flagandbanner.com's Facebook page, or write this number down and call.
You need to call 501-433-0088. 501-433-0088.
And if you're shy, you can just creep on my weekly blog about life as a small business owner, mother of 4, wife to 1, and that blog is at flagandbanner.com. You can click on the word blog. And as I said earlier, you can always listen to all these podcasts. Before the break, we talked about Creighton's responsibility to preserve the history and integrity of his Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. And we talked about your family. Your sister, you work with your sister too. She's got an art gallery. Oh, if people want to go look at your fabulous website.
I was going to plug that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now that we're back.
Yeah, let's do that. What is it?
It's www.residences221.com. And 221 is 221, the numbers. So residences221.com.
Why is it not Pyramid? I thought
we also have the same one. No, the same one. It's pyramidbldg.com, but they go to the same site.
Because I went to Pyramid Building with a building being abbreviated.
That's correct.
Pyramidbldg.
Pyramidbldg.com or residences221.com. They go to the same.
And why 2120? Was that the address on the?
221's our address.
Oh, you're
So our gallery is Gallery 221. Residence is
You
221.
know, I couldn't find out what the name of your gallery was on your website. You need to tell your guy. I looked all over, and I was going to ask you, what's the name of the gallery?
Gallery 221.
It doesn't say it on your website.
Well, we need to work on that.
You mean,
Thank you.
Want me to send you an email?
No, you just did it like on the radio, so I'm pretty sure I can find it. Thanks.
I hope your sister's listening. She's going to go, what?
Yeah.
Or at least, now look, let's just be.
So should I plug our web developer? Now that we just mentioned that.
So I
Hi,
should
Chris.
say that I'm not the best reader, so it could be my mistake, but I couldn't find it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people out there like me. So that was the first question. What's the name of the gallery? Gallery 2121. I love that. And your sister works there, and your mother's been collecting art for 1,000 years. She's had like a warehouse full of art. Does she have a theme to the art she collects? Is there a genre?
No, it's everything. It's unbelievable. She's focused in certain areas, I think, and she likes a lot of the WPA era artworks.
What's WPA?
The Works Project Administration that was during the Great Depression.
World War II?
During the Great Depression. So a lot of artists were trained as part of the WPA programs. So like, of course I'm blanking, but I mean, you'll see beautiful murals, that were public works. Those were all done as part of the WPA program.
Yeah. We had somebody on the radio talking about those murals.
The Chrysler Building is a good example. If you go in the lobby of the Chrysler Building in New York City, the beautiful murals are all WPA pieces.
Yes, which I think the government paid local artists to go around and paint these murals, and
They did, to give them jobs.
And
And
did they paint paintings that
and they
your
would
mother could
train
buy?
them, yes. And so she's got a lot of drawings and paintings and different things. And
That
she
they would
knows.
sketch out before they put it up or something?
Well, there's some of that, and then there's also artists that just produce pure works of art, fine art.
Are those expensive?
I don't know. I don't buy them.
Oh, come on.
But yes, I mean, some of them are, depending on who the artist is.
Uh-huh.
And I think she's got a very good eye, and she's done a lot of research, and
So she's
it's a
traveled
passion for her.
It is a passion for her because she's an accountant.
She is by training, yes.
A very
professionally.
professional, top quality accountant who's hired and travels to do accounting work for big dogs.
That was previous to her retiring, yes.
So she's retired.
Well, she would. I'm not sure if she's really retired,
Yeah,
but
but,
supposedly.
So did she always know she wanted to collect this art? And
I think she's known her entire life.
So
She's
how many-
always loved art.
how many pieces would you say you have?
I'd say ballpark between 2,000 and 3,000 that she's
Wow.
got, that she's got rat holed
it's
somewhere.
crazy. How many
she
are on
found
display?
the internet is the problem.
Oh, how many are on display?
Throughout the building, I would say there's probably, between the gallery and other spaces, at least 100 pieces.
So she decorates the property with her art.
We, especially on the residence level, less public areas. Otherwise, you got to kind of nail it down pretty good, just in case, right? But it definitely complements the space well.
And so if you want to go buy some of her art, it's for sale.
It's for sale.
How often?
Everything in the building's for sale.
I'm for sale.
Yeah. Right.
The hours are?
The hours for the gallery are from 11 to 6, Monday through Friday, and then by appointment. And we'll anytime we'll do an appointment and get some wine out for you, and you can look at. We've got multiple galleries, so we've got the gallery on the first floor, the retail.
Okay.
And then we also have galleries up on the second floor with our art studios up there.
And what's an art studio? You can come there and paint?
Well, you rent studios. So we have a whole floor of art studios that are all rented. It's our best rental business that we do. And right now I'm working on 2/3 of the third floor will also be art studios when I'm finished. And I've got 3 out of the 14 pre-leased.
Because the lighting's so good?
The lighting's great, and I just don't think there's a structured environment for artists to come have a studio and the setup that we have in Little Rock that I know of. And it's a good community. I think they all know each other kind of.
They feed off each other.
Well, and they've been there a long time, and we really love our artists, our artist tenants. They're a big part of what we do, and I mean they're critical to what we think that building's about and what we think that space is about, and we're big supporters of those tenants, and so we're actually going to do something pretty fun. I think hopefully it launches around January. I don't want to
You're not going to tell us, or you are going to tell us?
Well, I kind of want to tell you, but I don't think I'm going to tell you. I think it's more fun to find the surprise, right?
He's a tease.
I can't say. It's gonna be. It will involve It'll involve maybe beverages.
Alcoholic?
Like alcoholic or morning beverages, and maybe some food and things. And so the gallery space on the first floor is going to change a little bit.
So the first floor's got a art gallery that's with art for sale that you can make appointments or go see from 11 to 6 most days. Your sister runs it. How often do they change the art out?
She rotates it out. We have rotating shows once a month, so
that's a
we'll
lot.
change our windows and change out some of the
So
artists.
you just walk by and look in the windows.
You can come out, look in the windows, come inside, chat with us.
And then there's a restaurant. There's a restaurant.
There's a restaurant
on the first floor.
There's a sushi restaurant, Hanaru Sushi Bar.
Is that good?
It's good.
I love sushi.
It's,
Okay,
Mr.
and then-
Yu's awesome. He actually owns that. So we're a horizontal property regime. So he's bought that condo unit there.
Horizontal property regime.
That's HPR for
I
sure.
have never heard that term in my life.
Which is how you can, cut out portions of your building for sale, if it's zoned that way. So it's a zoning thing. So he owns Hanaru,
Okay.
and he owns that part of the building. We
Okay.
also have a taco. It's called Wicked Taco Factory. WTF? I think it's kind of cute.
Oh, that is cute.
And it's a local couple.
Are they still there?
And they're opening it. They're working on opening it. I'm hoping it's open in about 90 days. But they have a contractor and getting the permits and doing all that.
That's what's on the first
So they
floor.
had a food truck, and then
Oh, now they got the.
and then they decided that. Sorry, my watch.
We turned your phone off, but we forgot to turn your
Yeah.
watch off. Chris, my God, this is Get Smart.
Technology.
Sorry,
Or Get Smart. I guess that's an old joke. Nobody even knows what that
I
show
know who
is.
he is. Yeah,
Okay, so.
Maxwell Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you do know. Okay.
He
So
talked through his nose a lot, I think. Right.
I think so. So on the first floor, we've got 2 restaurants, an
Two
art
restaurants,
gallery,
an art gallery,
and a
hopefully
vault.
a vault.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And some elevators.
And 3 elevators.
That's
and,
right.
Okay, and then we go up to the
And some
second,
beautiful
third. We go up to the
marble.
second, third floor. Second floor and third floor are all artist studios.
Are all artist studios. That's correct.
4th through 7th are all office space.
That's correct.
With mail shoots.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then,
It still works.
And then 8th, 9th, and 10th are residents, but the 10th
Residences.
floor is almost all taken.
That's correct.
And
Two of the penthouses. There's 3 penthouses.
And then the
2 are occupied.
top floor, because you're now calling it 11 floors, because on the top floor you get a spa.
We've got our we've
got
got
an outdoor
our
living
patio
space.
out there, right? So we call that our rooftop terrace. So it's we got a hot tub up there, a lounge area, full grill, full bathroom. It's really nice. Like tonight would be perfect to go up there and have a glass of wine or something.
Why would tonight be perfect?
The weather's great now. It's cooling off finally in
Why
the
else?
evenings. Why else? Oh, it's a full moon.
There you go. That was like full of teeth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's softball.
You're the one who even told me that. I didn't even know.
Be a beautiful night to
So, okay,
from our
we've
rooftop.
only got a few minutes, and
Okay.
I want to tell everybody
Talk about the
just
ambulance.
real quick. I'm just going to do a kind of a station to tell everybody you're listening to Up in Your Business with me, Kerry McCoy, and I'm speaking today with Creighton Ralls, owner and overseer of Pyramid Place in downtown Little Rock, Arkansas, and we're going to now talk about your ambulance. You came to work for me and met my son, who graphics wrapped your ambulance that you bought used.
And I almost broke your garage.
That's another story, and or either I almost broke your ambulance. I don't know which one. And
We tied.
I think we tied. So the ambulance, you bought it used.
We did.
The person who has no money has this crazy hobby. He goes out and buys ambulances and converted it into
Old ambulances are cheap, by the way.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay, tell
And
us
they
all
don't
about
run
it.
real well.
Tell our listeners all about it. They're not going to believe
So
this.
this is it's a fun story. I've got some buddies, and we tailgate and go to Razorback games and all that. And one of them had seen an ambulance, a converted ambulance at a professional game, I think maybe Houston or something like that. And so threw the idea out there and go hit Craigslist, and boom, up in Cabot, there's an ambulance for sale. So we go look at it, and I think it was the Bryant Police Department, somebody had already had it and had tricked it out and made it like a surveillance vehicle. So it had everything was up to date, all the electrical was, but they didn't drive it much. So we buy this thing, it's great, and we're like, oh, let's take it to Fayetteville. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. Get it up there, we're gonna do all this great stuff to it. Well, we made it to Pottsville, and it sat there for about 6 months because we were so busy we couldn't go pick it up from the gentleman who fixed it for us and take it the rest of the way to Fayetteville.
What year is this ambulance?
It's a 1994 F350.
Okay, so it's a 350 engine, I guess.
I don't even know much about engines,
Oh,
but
my God.
one of the great things about our tailgate is
That's a pretty big engine
we
for
have an
19,
ambulance
whatever.
mechanic who's part of our crew, and so he takes care of it for us.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the way I like to roll. You don't need to know.
We give Sam tickets, and Sam makes sure that it makes it to the tailgate spot.
Okay.
We also broke down trying to go to the A&M game last year in Dallas.
Okay, so then you get it back to Little
on
Rock.
fire. and the fire department that
What
came
part
out
caught on fire? Okay, go ahead.
some part of the transmission.
Okay.
But the first responders that came out, they actually signed a Razorback flag for us, and we've got it inside of the back. So it turned out to be kind of a fun story. And you're not allowed in Texas to own an ambulance and drive it around and impersonate an emergency vehicle. So we were fortunate that we never made it out of Oklahoma,
Into Texas.
because we probably could have gotten in trouble down at Cowboy Stadium.
Oh.
Like we found that out after the fact.
I don't know
it
why
may have been a
anybody would
blessing
think you
in
were
disguise.
impersonating. It's got a hog nose on the front, doesn't it?
It does. It's got our hogged arteries is like our little group.
What's it called?
Hogged arteries.
Hogged arteries.
So I've got two of my tailgate friends are Graham and Keith are both architects, and so they were able to do the vector files and put together all this artwork for us that we were able to then send to y'all and make, I think, y'all's job a little bit easier.
What other puns are there? Hog arteries. There's other ones.
There's
aren't
hogged arteries, the hambulance. We
The
call it the
hambulance.
ham van.
there? Ham
And
van.
we draw a pretty good little crowd up in Fayetteville.
So what's in it? You open the back and what
So
happens?
you open the back, and we've repurposed all of the storage, obviously, for different tailgating things. So whether it's cups or hats or jackets or
You sell stuff?
no, just our things. You know,
Just
it's
your
got
thing. Oh,
storage.
you got to put on all your paraphernalia.
There's a bar in there. There's
Grill.
TV in there. The grill comes out.
Do you have
We've got
a-
two TVs actually. We have a little satellite we put up on top to watch games, and
Do you have? Oh yeah, so you can.
and the guys next to us have the music, so we don't
Oh,
mess
you have the
with
same place you park every time.
every game.
So you don't rent this thing out?
No, we haven't tried. I mean, maybe
I
somebody would
thought
want
you rented it out for some reason.
no.
It's just your hobby.
It's just a hobby.
It's an
an expensive
expensive
hobby.
hobby.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Okay.
Or Pepsi if it's University of Arkansas.
Okay.
They don't serve Coke at the
Oh.
stadium there. It's a big deal for some people.
Okay. So
But some people
you don't
like
even
whiskey
drink.
with
How can
Pepsi.
you stand to go up there and sit with all those people?
It's fun. I mean, we have a good time. It's a family atmosphere. I mean, what's cool is a lot of people stop by. We got like the little, what is that, cornhole that we play, and like it's a place for people to stop by and have a good time, grab a bite to eat.
Do you have a tailgating flagpole and flag that you bought from Arkansas Flag and Banner
You know, I've
with a tire mount so you can roll your ambulance over it and hoist up your flagpole and
I
flag?
love buying flags from Arkansas Flag and Banner
Yes, you
so
do.
much that yes, we do have a hogged arteries flag. We have a Facebook page. Everybody can
Okay,
look
give
for
everybody
it.
contact information. We're running out. How do people? Do you want people to read about ambulance?
They can. It's on Facebook. We have
All
our
right.
own Facebook. It's just the hogged
Ambulance?
arteries ambulance. I think if you search for it on the
Artery.
internet, you'll find it. I think
Hogged
the guys
artery
set up a
ham.
Twitter page, maybe Instagram. I don't know. That's beyond me, right?
And then if they want to come and rent or Airbnb from you or come to your art gallery, they go to
Either pyramidbldg.com or residences221.com
Mm-hmm.
or Airbnb. They just search for Residences 221. They'll find
What do you
it.
think is going to happen downtown?
I think downtown's going to be a thriving place, and I think it's already.
People like you are going to make it that way.
I think it's already there. I think it's just going to get better.
Look, Chris-
I do want to tell you though
What?
that the cherry on top of our project,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not to like inflate your head, was our flag. Or our flags.
Oh yeah,
So
you put a big flagpole on top
we
of your
put a big
pyramid
flag.
building.
We put a 30-foot flagpole up on top of the building
That's
as our
right.
cherry on top, and
That
then
is a
y'all made
cherry
us.
on top.
And then y'all made us. So you've made hogged arteries flags for me, and also a pyramid place flag that flies with the federal flag and the state flag. And then for game days, we'll put the Razorback flag up
I was
there.
going to say, you got to put up a
We
Razorback
flew it
flag.
during when the Omahogs were in the College World Series. We flew it the whole time.
What'd you call them?
The Omahogs, that's where they have the College World Series. So they call them Omahogs when
Oh,
they
I
go
didn't know that.
do that. The baseball team.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Do I need to put this on?
Yeah. Okay, so everybody, if you're on Facebook, you see that we've all got hog noses. I can't. Oh, you can't get it on.
I'm not
you
even
got,
sure how this works.
You can't. You got too much stuff on your head.
How's that?
There you go.
The tusks
Okay,
are
y'all
on
look
there.
so stupid. I'm not putting mine on.
That's not very nice to say.
Besides that, it's got tusks. These are male noses. Look.
That's not a good look. It's not going to happen.
All right. Look, here's your gift for coming on with me today.
Oh, that is so... Is this old merchandise?
No, it's brand new. Let me tell everybody what it is. It's a car flag with Razorback.
Facebook can see it.
Oh, yeah, Facebook can see it. It's a Razorback flag, car flag, so that you can put it on there. You are so welcome.
I want to thank y'all very much for the, speaking of the Hamulets, from myself and the rest of our crew, thank you very much. It looks so cool. And without those graphics, it wouldn't be what it is. So without y'all doing that for us, we thought the university was going to find you.
I thought the university was going to find you.
Well, they tried to.
That was a whole nother subject.
As long as we're not trying to sell anything with it.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do it.
We saw another one in Fayetteville, and it had whatever their business was on the side of it.
Oh, and they got
a cease and desist or whatever, and they had to sell it.
You can't sell products.
Yeah.
Good. That's how you get around it. I was wondering how you were getting to do those play on words.
Yeah.
Chris, who's our guest next week?
Michelle Town from Inviting Arkansas Magazine.
That is a tough business. You have to go. You have to write all day long and make your magazine, and then all night you have to go to events, and take pictures of people. She's a hard worker.
I wonder if the events get old after a while.
You know they must.
Like everything else you do.
Everything does after a while. That's why I keep reinventing my job. That's why I started a radio show 2 years ago.
That's smart. We didn't even talk about reinventing.
About reinventing?
I'll have to come back on.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Every decade.
Every decade. Well, you change every decade.
You do.
You do. Chris, thanks for hosting with me today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
You got it.
You're great. If you have a great entrepreneurial story you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. Send a brief bio and your contact info to questions. That's questions with an S at upyourbusiness.org. And finally, to our listeners, thank you for spending time with me. If you think this program's been about you, you're right, but it's also been for me. Thank you for letting me fulfill my destiny. My hope today is that you've heard or learned something that's been inspiring or enlightening, and that it, whatever it is, will help you up your business, your independence, or your life. I'm Kerry McCoy, and I'll see you next time on Up in Your Business. Until then, be brave and keep it up.
You've been listening to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, a production of flagandbanner.com. If you miss any part of the show or want to learn more about UIYB, go to flagandbanner.com and click on Radio Show, or subscribe to her weekly podcast wherever you would like to listen. All interviews are recorded and posted the following week with links to resources you heard discussed on today's show. Kerry's goal: to help you live the American dream.